Welcome back. Day 2, starting a land clearing business from scratch, and we're covering quotes today. So, here's what we have. First thing we're going to look at is skid steers. Okay, skid steer. We have, try to get this in focus, sorry. All right, so with Yellow House, that's John Deere. They've got me quoted for 36 months, a 48 month, and a 60 month. So looking at 36 months, zero interest. Payment is going to be $2,662.84 a month. 48 month, it increases the interest to 0.99. That's $2,037.71. And then 60 months, 2.25% interest, and that is the lowest payment option at $1,690.67. So, looking at those options, that is just having the skid steer on its own and the bucket. That does not include the mulcher that I need, and that was the cheaper option to go because the guy said you could probably just rent the mulcher. The mulcher itself, the drum mulcher that I would need, is $40,000 to $42,000. That would increase the total overall, that $95,862.24 to well north over $100,000. So a bit pricey on the Yellow House John Deere, but I mean, it came with a lot of perks. So with John Deere, they said if I were to break down out in the field, they'd bring out a replacement while they worked on my broken down equipment. So let's say if it was a catastrophic failure, they needed to go work on it, take it back to the shop, they would bring out a replacement if they had one. Now, I've heard some horror stories with other companies, not going to say the names, but I've heard other stories outside of the John Deere house that they would say that and then not follow through. John Deere follows through. They make sure that that's going to be part of your contract. So renting options, if you go rental, that's going to be about $2,800 to $3,000 a month for that John Deere. That is a 325G. They do have the older versions, the G version versus the P. So the P are the newer versions that are out. That might run a little bit more because it's the newer version. But right now, 325G, that's what they're quoting for purchasing. So pros and cons. Pros, you're purchasing maybe a little bit lower monthly on that 60-month term. Cons of that, what if you're slow? What if you don't have work coming through for that week or that month, and you still got to make that $1,690 payment? So for me, what seems a little bit more low risk, I'm going to go with rental, in my opinion. This is, again, just me, what I feel comfortable with. But let's say I am slow and I don't have work to do for that month or that week, then I can go ahead and just return it and not have to worry about the cost of that on that full month. You know, it's going to be a little bit cheaper because it's, you know, I'm returning it, not using it the full month, and I've only used it maybe a couple days or even a week. So that's why I would go that route. And then I can also rent the mulcher on top of that. So per month, I'm looking about potentially $5,000 to $6,000 a month. And that's, again, dependent on if I need to return it because of no work versus always having that constant amount there. And then still on top of that, renting the mulcher because that only comes with the skid steer in the bucket. So that's Yellow House. Now looking at Bobcat, I did check out Bobcat. I was running low on time. I may try to go and check out Kubota or ACO, and they have some Caterpillars out there that we can go take a look at next week. So we're going to give that a shot, see what they may have. But so far, Yellow House is looking like the dominant choice given their perks and the rental capability. So the Bobcat, we were looking at $92,882, and we have, sorry, I'm trying to get into focus here. There we go. So we have this 74 horsepower turbo 4 diesel engine. That comes with the deluxe package. So it's not a bad skid steer. What we're looking at, I'm trying to, sorry, again, focus here. We are looking at T740 T4 V2 Bobcat, and that also is going to come with a mulcher. So we got a heavy duty bucket and the RK5015 standard flow. That is sitting at 6,500, and then I'm sorry, forgive me, that is 26,000, and that adds to the total. So for the total here, what we're looking at is 113,164.71, and the total actually was 126,740, but they gave a Bobcat of Lubbock customer discount, which is negative 13,000. So it's pretty cool of them. They're able to discount that out, but that does come again with the skid steer, bucket, and the mulcher. So a little bit more pricey, but it does come with more attachments with that. They did not offer, if I were to break down, they would bring something out. That is not something that they were advertising, and when asked about, they kind of shied away from. So I don't think that's something that they do, and if they did, I'd still be a little leery just based off of that in general. Like, they're kind of hesitant to even bring it up. So John Deere was just flat out like, yeah, we'll do this for you. If we got a replacement for you, we will do it. Again, rental, the con to that is if somebody's using a skid steer and they are run out of units, then I'm kind of SOL. So weigh your choices. All right, next option up here for quotes. We got a 2024 Ford F-150. I'm sorry, 250. Golly, I can't talk right now. So 250, and that was original quoted at 58,000 sticker price. So they were like 58,600. I talked them down to 53,990, bringing that up with some of the fees, 54,339. Sorry, my kid's in the back yelling, playing Godzilla. And then, so with tax title license, brought the total back up to 58,000. If I left it at 58,000, it would have been 58,000 plus tax title license, other dealer fees. I would have been well north of 60,000 for this one. So that's a 44,000 mile vehicle. That is a Power Stroke diesel turbocharge. So not a bad deal overall, but I think I can still get them down. Always negotiate down. If the deal's not right and it's not where you want it to be, walk away. Don't let them think they have the power over you. I've done a lot of buying of vehicles and selling of vehicles in my past, so you hold the power, not them. So always ask for like a JD Power breakdown, as well as Carfax report. That way you can make sure that it hasn't been any damages, that you can also communicate down and bring that lower. So Kevin, thanks for the 3,500 tip. You said to go with the 3,500. I did find a Silverado 3,500 flatbed utility, and that is at 73,000 miles, and they are selling 47,500, and that is probably going to be the one I'm going to go for. So come Monday, I have my second meeting with the bank. We'll talk about that in another video. So lastly, last quote, we're looking at trailers. I went to Happy Trailers, wasn't very happy with their prices. Went to Big Tex, they had Big Tex prices. And Rascal Trailers. Rascal Trailers, man, they did it right. So look at this, Rascal Trailer, 6,925. That's for a 83-inch wide, 20-foot, 2 axle sitting at 7K per axle. Total GVWR weight limit there of 14,000. So heck yes, I am gonna get that one. So we're gonna go ahead and take these quotes. We went to the bank. Our next video is going to talk about what we needed for the bank to then talk about trying to finance or get some funds for that. So we're going to talk about that next, coming up. Stay tuned. Bye.